Hi, I'm Vernon again. In today's video, I'll show you exactly how to make him miss you, regret leaving you, and want you back, not by chasing, but by doing 3 powerful things that shift the dynamic completely. You can love someone with your whole soul and still watch them walk away without ever turning back. And sometimes it's not the leaving that hurts most, it's how quickly they seem to forget. But here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. If he left, let him. If he forgot you, good. You don't need to beg. You don't need to explain. You don't need to fix what he was too blind to value. Because when you do these 3 things with clarity, calm, and confidence, he won't just miss you. He'll crave the version of you he never deserved. In the next few minutes, I'll show you 5 ways to make him come back to you. So stay with me until the end, because once you understand this, you'll never chase again. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more quiet wisdom like this. Now, let's dive into the first shift, the one that often makes him realize what he's lost before he even knows he wants it back. Number 1. Make him feel your absence without a word. Let's start with something most people overlook: silence. Not the kind used to punish or manipulate. I mean the kind that comes from clarity, from knowing you have nothing left to prove. A silence that says, I trust myself enough not to chase what's already walking away. Years ago, when I went through the hardest breakup of my life, I made the mistake most of us make. I reached out, I explained, I tried to hold on to something that was already letting go of me. And in doing so, I gave away every bit of mystery and every ounce of my power. It wasn't until I stopped talking, really stopped, that things began to shift. You see, silence makes space. Space for them to feel your absence. Space for them to wonder. Space for regret to creep in. I once read something that stuck with me. Silence is a source of great strength. I didn't get it at first. It felt passive, even weak. But when I finally stopped reaching out, I saw the truth. My silence made space for memory to do its work. And slowly, he began to remember. He remembered my laugh, the warmth in my eyes, the way I listened when no one else did. He didn't hear from me, but he felt me, in the spaces, in the quiet. That's the power of chosen silence. It's not about ignoring, it's about elevation. It says, I'm no longer available to what diminishes me. And here's what's most surprising. The quieter I got, the louder he became. The calls, the messages, the sudden apologies. Silence made him question. Silence made him miss me. And when that happens, you're no longer chasing, because they're already on their way back. So if you're in that place now, torn between reaching out and letting go, I urge you to choose the path that honors your strength. Say nothing. Let the silence speak. We're just getting started. The second shift is what keeps him thinking about you long after he tries to move on, and I'll tell you exactly what that is next. Number 2. Detach. So he can feel the weight of losing you. Detachment isn't cold.
It's clarity wearing armor. It's standing at the edge of a cliff, watching the waves crash below, and realizing you don't have to jump just because someone else walked away. When you detach, you stop trying to hold on to what's already fading. You let the rope slip from your hands, not in defeat, but in peace. And something strange happens when you do that. They feel it. The energy shift, the calm in you that used to be chaos for them, the space that used to be filled with you worry, now silent, now sovereign. If you've ever felt that shift in yourself, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Detachment is the art of loving without gripping. It says, I care, but I won't carry it for you anymore. It's the quiet courage of walking with open hands instead of clenched fists. And the truth is, nothing haunts a man more than the woman who no longer needs to be heard. He expects emotion. He expects resistance, a storm. But when all he hears is stillness, real, grounded stillness, it rattles him. Because silence carries weight. It forces reflection. And when you stop reacting, you stop feeding the illusion that he still holds space in your world. That's when the silence becomes deafening. Not for you, but for him. And in that echo, he begins to feel the truth. You've outgrown the noise. Detachment doesn't close the heart. It frees it. And in that freedom, you begin to remember who you were before the begging, before the bending, before the breaking. You return to a quieter truth, that you were whole long before they came, and you will be whole long after they go. That realization isn't just healing, it's transformative. Because once you see your value outside of their presence, their absence no longer defines you. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Sometimes the most powerful way to reclaim yourself is not by fighting to stay, but by choosing to walk away with grace. That's when he starts to wonder, did I lose something I can never replace? And often, the answer is yes. And that question, whether he's lost something he can't replace, begins to echo in his mind. But wondering is only the beginning. Now let's explore the shift that doesn't just stir his thoughts, it compels him to act. Number 3, reclaim your radiance and let him see what he gave up. There's something quietly powerful about a woman who returns to herself. Not the self he remembers, but the self she had buried beneath compromise and hoping to be chosen. This third shift is about energy. Not desperation, not anger, but renewal. When you begin to move differently, not for him, but for you, something happens. The light comes back in your eyes. The softness returns, not for him to touch, but for you to live. You begin to glow, and not in the cliché sense, but in the way people do when they've survived the fire and started planting gardens in the ash. He sees it. He won't say it out loud, not yet, but he'll feel it like a shift in the atmosphere. It's in the quiet confidence of your posture, the steady light in your eyes,
The way your presence fills the room without needing to be noticed. You no longer shrink because there's no part of you left that waits for his recognition. You've stopped waiting at the door because you remembered you were always meant to walk through it on your own. Reclaiming your radiance isn't about showing off. It's about remembering who you are, what you love, what used to make you laugh when no one was watching. And here's what happens. He realizes you're no longer accessible, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically. That version of you he took for granted, she doesn't live here anymore. That realization hits harder than any words you could ever say. Because nothing pierces a man's ego more than watching the woman he once had become the woman he can no longer reach. And that is when the chasing begins. But this chase is no longer yours to notice or even to validate, because something far more valuable has already begun, the quiet rebuilding of your life on your terms. And now, as we come to the close, let's reflect on what these shifts truly mean, not just for him, but for you. Number 4. Don't just rise, stay unreachable. There's a difference between rising and remaining reachable. Many women rise, glow up, move forward, but they leave a door cracked open behind them. A glance back, a silent hope, an emotional thread still tied to his approval. This shift is about closing that door, gently, and never opening it again. It's about becoming emotionally unavailable, not out of bitterness, but from knowing you've outgrown the conversation entirely. You don't need closure. You don't need him to understand, because what you've built in your peace is louder than anything he could ever say. When you stop performing for someone else's recognition, your presence no longer asks for permission. It simply exists, whole and unshaken. It becomes the kind of presence that doesn't chase applause or attention, but commands quiet reverence. Not loud, not boastful, just sacred in its stillness. And in that stillness, you become unreachable, not because you're distant, but because you've outgrown the need to be seen to know your worth. This is the space where he doesn't just want you, he realizes he never deserved you. And by then, you're long gone. As we come to the close, let's reflect on what these shifts truly mean, not just for him, but for you. Which of these shifts spoke to you the most? I'd truly love to hear your reflections. Leave a comment below and let's continue the conversation, quietly but meaningfully. And if any part of this video resonated with your journey, save it. Revisit it on the days you forget your strength. Sometimes the right words at the right time remind us who we've always been. And just when you think the healing is complete, there's one more shift, a final one, quiet, subtle, but perhaps
the most powerful of all.
Number 5. Become the peace you once searched for in him. When I think of true emotional strength, I think of my mother. She never chased, never begged, never explained her worth to someone who couldn't feel it. She moved through this life like water, soft, silent, but powerful enough to shape everything in her path. I used to wonder how she carried so much disappointment, loss, unspoken grief, and still held her head high. Now I know. She didn't carry it alone. She handed it over to time, to grace, to silence, and she chose peace again and again, no matter who left or stayed. This shift, this final shift, is about becoming that kind of woman. It's no longer about whether he regrets losing you. It's about whether you can finally sit with yourself in stillness and feel whole. When you stop needing to be chosen, you begin to choose yourself in the smallest, most sacred ways. In the way you make your morning coffee, the books you read, the way you speak to yourself when no one's around. That's where peace is born. You begin to understand love isn't something you wait for, it's something you become. This kind of peace doesn't scream, it doesn't post online, it doesn't wait for validation. It's quiet but undeniable. And if he ever sees you again, truly sees you, he won't just see the woman he lost, he'll see the woman he never even knew how to love. By then, you won't need to say a word, because peace speaks for itself. So if you're still waiting for the moment he realizes what he lost, pause, breathe, and ask instead, have I remembered what I was always meant to find? If this resonates, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to save this video. You might need it again someday, on a quiet morning when your strength feels far away. Because some reminders are worth keeping close. We began this journey with a simple idea, that you don't need to chase someone who walked away. And throughout this video, we explored 5 powerful shifts, not just strategies to make him miss you, but deeper truths about who you become when you stop giving your power away. You learn to let silence speak for you, to detach with grace instead of gripping in fear, to reclaim your radiance and walk tall in the version of yourself he never truly saw. You closed the door not in bitterness, but with certainty. And finally, you became the peace you once searched for in someone else. This wasn't just about getting him back. It was about coming home to yourself. Because real power doesn't scream. It doesn't beg. It doesn't chase. It simply becomes. If these shifts felt like truth to you, then honor them, live them, and let them guide you through whatever comes next. Because the goal was never just to be missed. The goal is to be remembered by the right person, starting with yourself. If you found something valuable here, don't hesitate to like, share, subscribe to my channel. There's more quiet wisdom where this came from. Until next time, keep rising, quietly and powerfully. I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.